You might not realize this yet, but the most powerful moment between you and him isn't when you're moving the fastest. It's when he suddenly looks at you and forgets to breathe. That exact second, when his eyes soften, his body stills, and he surrenders, that's when your power is fully awake. And here's the secret most women never get told. You already have that power. You've always had it. But the world has taught you to chase technique, not energy, to perform, not to feel, to focus on what he sees instead of what you radiate. Being all top isn't about control in the way most people think. It's not dominance. It's not doing everything right. It's about creating a moment where he can't look away, where his entire body responds to you. Not because you're trying hard, but because your energy has taken over the room. If you've ever worried that you're not doing it right, or that he might be secretly judging what you look like, pause that thought right here. Because what makes a man beg for more isn't a performance, it's presence. It's that quiet confidence that says, I know who I am and I know what I'm doing, even when I'm not doing much at all. That's what pulls him in deeper. When you're on top, you're not just physically in control, you're emotionally leading. You decide the pace, the tone, the energy, the rhythm. And if you know how to tap into that power softly, intentionally, he won't just enjoy it, he'll crave it. If this resonated, don't forget to comment and subscribe. Your engagement helps more women discover the power of presence, confidence, and connection. So in this video, we're not going to talk about technique. We're going to talk about something far more magnetic, the feminine energy that makes him melt under your touch, and the subtle things you can do that make him whisper your name long after it's over. Because the truth is, it's not what you do that makes him beg for more. It's what he feels when you do it. It's not about performance. It's about presence. So many women tell themselves the same quiet story. What if I'm not enough? What if I don't move right? What if I look awkward? It's a story rooted in pressure. Pressure to please, to perform, to be perfect. But here's the thing. Men don't remember perfection. They remember emotion. They remember how safe they felt in your presence. They remember your breathing, your confidence, your softness, the way you stayed connected instead of trying to impress. When you're on top, it's not a stage, it's an exchange. He doesn't need you to put on a show. He needs to feel you there, your warmth, your rhythm, your calmness. That's what reaches him on a level no technique ever could. You see, presence is what turns a moment into something unforgettable. It's what makes him surrender, not because you're overpowering him, but because you're inviting him somewhere deeper. When you stop focusing on how you look and start focusing on how he feels around you, everything changes. Because when a woman moves from presence instead of pressure, her body language shifts, her breathing slows, her energy deepens. She becomes magnetic, and he can't explain why. He might tell you later that you felt different, or that he couldn't stop thinking about you. What he's really saying is, you made me feel something real. And that's what this entire video is about, unlocking that emotional power that's already inside you. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to turn a moment on top into something he'll never forget, without forcing, without pretending, and without ever doubting yourself again. Because when you understand the psychology of what truly makes a man beg for more, you stop chasing confidence and start embodying it. So take a breath, settle in, and let's uncover what really happens when you stop performing and start connecting. The hidden truth about control, why he loves when you take the lid. Most women believe men always want to be in control, that they want to set the pace, make the moves, and call the shots. But here's what most never realize: the moments that take his breath away are the ones where you quietly take over, because deep down, even the most confident man dreams of a woman who can guide the moment, not with force, but with presence. He dreams of the moment when he can finally let go. You see, control for men is often about pressure to perform, to please, to be the strong one. But when you take the lead, you give him permission to rest, to surrender, to feel. And that's something he rarely gets to do. When you move with quiet intention, not rushing, not seeking approval, you create an energy that tells him you're safe here. That safety makes his body relax, and when his body relaxes, his emotions open. That's when connection begins. Men don't talk about this because it's vulnerable. It's not something they brag about. But what they crave is the kind of woman who knows how to lead him out of his head and into his heart. When you take the lead, even subtly, you're telling him, You don't have to do anything right now. I've got you. And that sentence, even when unspoken, is powerful because it makes him feel desired, chosen, and deeply understood. So yes, he loves when you take the lead, not because he wants to lose control, but because your energy makes him feel safe enough to let go. That's what makes the moment unforgettable. Not who's on top, but who's present. If this resonated, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps more women discover the power of presence, confidence, and connection. Control doesn't mean aggression. It means confidence. Some women hear the word control and immediately tense up. They picture dominance, force, or taking over in a way that feels unnatural. But feminine control isn't about that. It's about direction with softness. It's the quiet kind of leadership that says, I know what I want and I'm not afraid to move toward it. Confidence doesn't shout, it whispers. It lives in the way you breathe, the way you move, the way you look at him. It's not a performance, it's presence that feels effortless. When you're in control, your body language becomes magnetic. You're not trying to impress, you're guiding with intention. Your breath sets the rhythm. Your eyes give permission. Your stillness creates anticipation. That's the secret difference between performing and embodying. One seeks validation. The other radiates self-assurance. You can be soft and still be powerful. You can lead without ever forcing, because true feminine control is not about aggression. It's about grounded confidence. When you feel good in your own skin, he feels it too. And that's what draws him deeper. Not your technique, not your pace, but the emotional certainty behind every small movement. So if you've ever feared being too much, remember, control is not intensity. It's clarity. And when a woman moves with clarity, calm, assured, unhurried, he feels safe enough to completely lose himself in her. The emotional impact of role reversal. When you take the lead, something subtle but powerful happens inside him. He's not just turned on, he's seen. You might not realize it, but when you guide the rhythm, his body experiences more than physical pleasure. It experiences trust. In that moment, you become his safe space, the person who allows him to drop every wall he holds up in the world. That's not dominance, that's devotion. He's not surrendering to your control, he's surrendering to your confidence. And when he does, the connection becomes emotional, not just physical. This is where role reversal becomes sacred, because when he lets you lead, he's not losing power, he's finding peace. And you, in turn, get to see a side of him few ever do, the soft, unguarded version of a man who finally feels emotionally free. So the next time you find yourself on top, remember, this isn't about proving anything. It's about creating a space where both of you can let go. He'll beg for more, not just because of what you do, but because of how you make him feel when you do it. The energy exchange, not motion, but emotion, what he actually feels when you're on top. When you're on top, something shifts in the emotional energy between you. He's no longer guiding, he's receiving. And that switch wakes up sensations he doesn't usually experience. What he feels isn't just physical, it's emotional surrender. It's the warmth of your skin against his, the rhythm of your breathing syncing with his heartbeat. He feels your confidence through your stillness. He feels your curiosity through your gaze. He feels your desire through your touch. Every small movement, every pause communicates more than words ever could, because when you're on top, your body becomes a language, one he can read without translation. He's not thinking about how you move, he's feeling why you move. And when that intention is grounded in connection, not performance, he falls deeper. It's in the moments between motion, the subtle eye contact, the small exhale, the way your hands find his chest, that he feels it most. Those are the moments he remembers, because for men, physical closeness without emotional connection fades fast. But emotional closeness wrapped in physical pleasure stays imprinted. That's the difference between a moment he enjoys and a moment he never forgets. Why stillness is more powerful than movement. It sounds almost backward, but the less you move, the more he feels. Stillness isn't absence of action. It's intensity without chaos. When you pause just long enough for both of you to breathe the same air, his brain floods with anticipation. That pause is the space where his imagination wakes up. His senses heighten. His heartbeat sinks to yours. This is because of something deeply biological. Slow, mindful movement activates oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It calms the nervous system and deepens trust. Meanwhile, adrenaline mixes with dopamine, amplifying desire. It's a perfect storm of chemistry and emotion. So when you stay still, look into his eyes and wait, you're not being passive. You're leading with confidence. Stillness says, I'm not rushing. I'm here. Feel this. That kind of control pulls him into the moment harder than any movement ever could. And when you combine that stillness with intention, a slow breath, a gentle touch, a soft smile, you create emotional electricity he can't escape. That's when he'll whisper things he didn't plan to say. That's when he'll beg for more, not from need, but from connection. The language of energy, how he reads you. Every woman carries an energy signature, and whether you realize it or not, he feels it. Men read energy faster than words. They notice tension, hesitation, openness, confidence, not consciously, but through instinct. When your energy says, I'm comfortable, he relaxes. When it says, I'm confident, he softens. When it says, I'm present, he trusts you. That's why what you feel inside always shows up in how you move, breathe, and look at him. It's your invisible language, and it's the one he understands best. So instead of asking, am I doing this right? Start asking, what energy am I sending right now? Because the truth is, he's not analyzing your body. He's responding to your energy. When your energy says, I'm in this moment with you, he feels it. And that's when everything slows down. The world disappears. And the only thing that exists is the two of you breathing the same air. That's connection. That's presence. And that's what makes him want to experience it again and again. The feminine rhythm, he can't resist the rhythm that makes him lose control. There's a rhythm that makes a man completely lose control, not because it's wild or fast, but because it feels alive. It's the rhythm that moves like waves rising, falling, teasing, pausing, never predictable, never mechanical. Most women focus on the motion, but what truly draws him in is your flow, because rhythm isn't just physical, it's emotional language. It's how your body speaks what your heart feels. When you move with intention, you're not just touching his skin, you're speaking directly to his nervous system. Every subtle shift, every change in pace tells him something. A slow exhale says, I'm here. A pause says, feel this. A deep gaze says, don't move. Think of rhythm like the tide. It pulls him closer, lets him breathe, then draws him back in. This dance of closeness and space is what keeps his desire alive. Because what men crave isn't constant intensity. It's the journey, the unknown, the way you build a moment instead of rushing through it. So when you're with him, don't think in terms of faster or harder. Think in terms of waves. Rise when you feel energy build. Fall when your breath slows. Let him feel the ocean of you. Unpredictable, powerful, and impossibly soft. That's the rhythm that makes him lose control, not because of your moves, but because of your energy. It tells him he's not just touching your body, he's being pulled into your world. How men's minds react to slow seduction. Men are wired for intensity, but what most don't know is that emotional intensity is even more addictive than physical. When you move slowly, when your rhythm becomes deliberate, his brain chemistry changes. Here's what happens: his logical mind quiets. His emotional brain wakes up. He stops thinking and starts feeling. And in that stillness, something powerful happens. He feels devotion, not just desire. That's because slow rhythm creates space for emotional recognition. He's no longer just in his body. He's in the moment. He's aware of your breath, your scent, your softness, the way you look at him. It's hypnotic. And it's the kind of experience his body remembers long after. This is why the slow kind of seduction, the one that invites instead of demands, always lingers. It touches his psychology, not just his senses. Men often chase intensity because it's easy to access, but they fall in love with the moments that feel meaningful. So when you slow down, when you stay fully present and let silence stretch, you're showing him something rare. That pleasure doesn't have to be rushed to be real. And that's when he starts to crave you, not the act, not the moment, but your energy, because your stillness awakens something his mind didn't know it was missing. Your confidence is the foreplay. Confidence isn't something you perform, it's something you radiate. And here's the truth: before you ever touch him, he's already feeling your confidence through your eyes, your breath, your energy. Men are incredibly sensitive to a woman's self-assurance. When you move like you trust yourself, it tells him you're safe to trust me to. You don't have to look perfect. You don't have to do anything right. Confidence is not about flawless, it's about real. When you stop worrying about how you look and start feeling into how you want to feel, you become magnetic. Because what he feels isn't your appearance, it's your comfort. When your posture is open, when your breathing is unhurried, when your voice softens with certainty, he feels drawn in. It's the energy of a woman who knows she's enough, not because she's trying, but because she's present. That's why confidence is the real foreplay. It starts long before touch. It's in your tone, your smile, the way you walk into the room like you belong there. And when you carry that same energy into intimacy, he doesn't just want your body, he wants your presence. Confidence is contagious, and when you embody it, he mirrors it. That's when he begins to let go. That's when the rhythm between you becomes effortless. That's when he can't stop thinking about you, because your confidence made him feel something deeper than desire. It made him feel seen. The psychological game of anticipation, why men crave the build up. Think about the last time you were completely lost in a story. It wasn't because it rushed to the ending. It was because it made you wait. That's what anticipation does in intimacy. It creates a slow burn that pulls him deeper with every heartbeat. Men crave the build up more than they realize, because in those seconds of waiting, of not knowing what comes next, their brain releases dopamine, the chemical of desire and curiosity. It's not the act that stays with him, it's the tension before the act. When you build slowly, a glance, a pause, a whisper that stops halfway, you turn the moment into a story, and his mind can't help but follow it. He'll remember how you made him feel, not what you did. Because what he's addicted to isn't the outcome, it's the suspense. Anticipation is emotional storytelling. It makes every touch mean more because it's earned through patience. And that's what keeps him wanting, even when the moment ends. How to tease his mind while you move his body. Seduction isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but with intention. It's the art of almost. It's the way you hover close enough for him to feel your warmth, but not your touch. The way you let your eyes linger, but look away just before he expects you to. It's whispering softly, then pausing to let his imagination fill in the rest. That's how you tease a man's mind while you move his body. Because once his imagination wakes up, his desire multiplies. When you let silence hang for just a beat too long, when you move slow enough that he feels every inch of the weight, you create emotional suspense that feels electric. He's no longer chasing pleasure, he's chasing you. Every pause becomes an invitation. Every breath becomes a promise. Every tiny movement becomes the spark of a new craving. This kind of playfulness isn't about withholding. It's about leading. You're showing him that connection doesn't have to be rushed, to be passionate. And when he finally feels you give in slowly, intentionally, it's not just release. It's relief, because you made him feel the story, and he'll replay that story again and again in his mind. The aftershock of emotional seduction, after the intensity fades and the room quiets, something lingers, not just the physical warmth, but the emotional echo. That's the aftershock of emotional seduction. It's what happens when desire meets depth, when a man experiences true connection, not just pleasure. His body may rest, but his mind doesn't. He replays the feeling of being wanted, trusted, and seen. That's why he reaches for you afterward, why he holds you a little longer. Because what he's feeling isn't just satisfaction, it's bonding. This is how emotional intimacy begins to rewrite his memory. You become the calm after the storm, the feeling he seeks without realizing why. The next day, when he thinks of you, he won't remember every detail, but he'll remember how grounded, safe, and alive he felt around you. That's the power of emotional seduction. It doesn't end when the moment ends, it deepens afterward. Because in truth, what men crave most isn't just climax, it's connection. The kind that hums quietly between two people who don't need to rush or explain. You become the woman he can't stop thinking about, not because of what happened, but because of how you made him feel. Confidence in motion, why confidence feels like chemistry. There's a kind of chemistry that doesn't come from looks, words, or timing. It comes from certainty. When you believe in your own energy, when you let your confidence flow without forcing it, it becomes contagious. He feels it instantly. Because confidence isn't about ego. It's not loud or aggressive. It's quiet, grounded, and deeply magnetic. It's the calm in your breath, the way you move without rushing, the way your eyes say, I know what I'm doing, even if you don't say a word. That's what creates chemistry, not tricks, not games, not perfection. It's the emotional comfort you radiate. When a man feels your comfort with yourself, his body relaxes. His defense is lower. He stops performing and starts connecting. It's almost biological. Your nervous system sync. He mirrors your calm. Your softness becomes safety. Your certainty becomes attraction. This is why confidence is so irresistible. It tells his body, you can let go here. And when a man feels that kind of safety, he doesn't just desire you, he feels drawn to you in a way he can't explain. Confidence is chemistry, not because it's showy, but because it creates emotional equilibrium. You stop chasing his reaction and he starts chasing your energy. So if you've ever doubted your sensuality, if you've ever compared yourself or felt like you had to prove you're desirable, pause, because your power isn't in perfection. It's in the way you make the moment feel safe, soft, and unforgettable. That's the energy he remembers. That's the chemistry that never fades. Letting go of perfection is the fastest way to kill connection, because when you're performing, you're not present. And the truth is, he's not watching you to judge. He's feeling you to connect. Every moment you overthink, is this good? Does he like it? Am I doing it right? You step out of your body and into your mind. But intimacy lives in the body. He's not looking for flawless. He's looking for real. Because real is what makes him melt. Real is what pulls him deeper. Real is what reminds him he's with a woman, not a performance. When you let go of perfection, you make room for something more powerful, authenticity. That soft laugh when something feels silly. That pause when you take a deep breath and just feel. Unplanned moment when you both go still and everything feels right without words. That's intimacy. That's the connection that lasts beyond the night. He doesn't remember how perfect you were. He remembers how free he felt with you. So let yourself be imperfect. Be messy, playful, spontaneous. Let your body speak before your mind catches up, because that's when you're most magnetic. Not when you're trying to impress, but when you're simply being. He doesn't need you to perform. He needs you to let him in. Your body is his safe space. Every man, no matter how strong or confident he seems, carries a quiet longing to be seen, to be accepted, to be allowed to let go. And when a woman embodies calm, warmth, and softness, she becomes that safe space. Your body becomes the place where his guard finally falls, where he can stop proving, stop pretending, and just be. It's not about dominance or control. It's about permission. You give him permission to rest. When you move with tenderness, when your energy says you're safe here, you touch something deeper than desire. You touch his heart, because in your softness, he finds his release. In your presence, he feels understood without a single word. That's why feminine energy is so powerful, not because it's fragile, but because it's receptive. It absorbs chaos and transforms it into stillness. You don't need to fix him, please him, or prove anything. You just need to be the calm he didn't know he needed. That's when he falls. Not just for your body, but for the way he feels when he's wrapped in your energy. Your body becomes his home. Your confidence becomes his compass. Your softness becomes his peace. That's the secret power most women underestimate. You don't just turn him on, you make him exhale. What he'll remember forever, it wasn't the movement, it was you. When he thinks back to you, it won't be about what you did. It'll be about how you made him feel. He won't remember every movement, every moment of rhythm, but he'll remember the way your energy wrapped around him, the way your breath slowed his, the way you looked at him, calm, sure, present, because what leaves the deepest mark isn't performance, it's presence. It was you, the woman who didn't rush, the woman who didn't try too hard to impress, the woman who trusted her own rhythm. That's the memory he'll carry long after the night ends. The feeling of surrender, of safety, of connection. You see, when a man meets a woman who leads with calm confidence instead of fear, she becomes unforgettable. She's not chasing his attention. She commands it effortlessly. She's not trying to please. She feels. And that feeling becomes a memory that echoes every time he thinks of connection. So when he remembers you, he'll remember the quiet confidence in your body, the way you made him feel accepted even in silence, the way your softness reminded him what real intimacy feels like. It was never about the moves. It was you. The secret every woman should know. Here's the truth every woman should know. You don't have to do more. You just have to be more present. Presence is your power. It's what makes a man stop thinking and start feeling. When you're present, when your touch, your voice, your breath all move in sync, you become magnetic. You draw him into your energy without trying. And that's the secret. Not techniques, not rules, not perfection, just presence. Because presence is what turns intimacy into connection. It's what makes him feel like he's the only person in the world when he's with you. When you stop asking, am I enough, and start feeling enough, everything shifts. You stop performing and start radiating. And the energy that comes from that, it's irresistible. That's the essence of feminine power. Not chasing, not proving,
Just being fully.
softly, confidently. Your power is in how you make him feel. At the end of it all, he won't remember every word, every move, or every second. He'll remember how you made him feel. That's your real power, not in how much you give, but in how deeply you're there. You are magnetic when you're present. You are unforgettable when you're confident. And you are irresistible when you move from emotion, not expectation. So take a deep breath, feel your power, because you've had it all along. Tell me in the comments which part of this spoke to you the most. And if you're ready to unlock even more secrets that awaken your magnetic energy, subscribe for the next chapter of your feminine power.